How are you, my fans, sneak peepers, and curious friends? I am difficult and demanding. If you want to know my real name, then hold still, and I might bring your wish to fruition. Before we begin, you can find this podcast show in iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, Blueberry, Google Play Music, TuneIn, YouTube, and Stitcher. Now, unlike the other people in your life, I actually care about what you think. So meet me halfway, take a tiny moment, and give my podcast and each episode a review rating. This is the I'm Difficult and Demanding podcast, keeping it real, uncensored, and shooting straight between the eyes. The third eye, that is. I am going to hit you with explicit truth. This solo show is outrageously honest and keenly witty with a view into life. Yes, I said life. That's what we do every day when we wake up from sleeping. We are living life. Well, some of us at least. Moreover, I hope to provide you with gut-wrenching laughter and a touch of wisdom. Let's get something straight. Really, really straight. I am truly, actually, habitually, and shamelessly difficult and demanding, and I completely own it. Now, I don't ask for much because I expect and receive it all. I firmly believe that if you expect shit, you will receive shit. What does that mean? Well, it means expect nothing but the best and don't settle for less. As always, I, your host Tara, am keeping it real and uncensored. It is time for you to come into my world. So unplug from your life and dive all into episode 42 of the I'm Difficult and Demanding podcast. Escapism. People want to escape for different reasons. Some are trying to escape traumatic, abusive circumstances. Others are trying to escape themselves. When you're escaping circumstances, that's only half the battle. You are not done. You must pick up the pieces and start putting yourself and your life back together in order. The other group, your only mission, your sole mission, is to shatter yourself and your life into pieces for whatever reason that you have. With this episode, I am talking about toxic, abusive relationships in my first segment. And my second segment, I am talking about middle class, middle-aged, heroin-addicted, carpooling moms. Before I begin, I am going to do a call out. What's a call out? Well, it's not a shout out. I am calling out you motherfucking lurkers. If you have entered my world, then be honest with yourself about it. You want to be here, and you know I want you here, so follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Finally, climb aboard and enjoy the entire show, because I am giving you plenty of ridiculous honesty. Once the podcast episode ends, I am keeping it going on my Instagram page at Difficult and Demanding and on my Twitter page at Mrs. D&D. I remember the day I met you. It was the best day of my life. The clouds cleared for you. I knew that was a sign from the heavens. My prayers were finally answered. All of my pain, suffering, and traumas are being acknowledged. I wasn't forgotten. My pain is not in vain. This is my time. This is my chance. I get to be happy. Yes, happiness. Oh, my misery. I thought it would haunt me forever. I thought it contaminated me. Has my trauma tarnished me? I hope not, because I think I see and feel love. This is my safe harbor. I can exhale and breathe. I'm finally safe. I am so grateful. I've been hiding and running for so long. I prayed so hard and deeply to escape my nightmare. It's so sad though. I've physically escaped my nightmare. Yes, I physically escaped my nightmare. But it still plays out in my mind and my heart. I wonder if my new love interest can sense it. I hope not. Because if he or she finds out too soon, they may not give me or our love a chance. People have run from me because of my past. I didn't choose my past. It chose me. Why am I being blamed, labeled, and judged for something I had no control or say in the matter? Can I catch a break? I'm hoping, praying that you, my dear, are my break, because I see heaven on earth in your eyes. I feel comfortable, so comfortable that I want to be vulnerable with you. Should I? Could I? Why would I? I have to take a chance, a risk. Oh man, please don't leave me. I am so sorry for my traumatic past. Please understand, I didn't know. I didn't choose it. It chose me. Okay? I'm going to do it. I am going to take a chance because I think I'm in love. I want more of this, which means I have got to open up more. My love told me that they want me to open up more. I did it. It went better than I thought. My truth was heard. I feel so light and better. This was a good decision. We are loving equals. Yes, we're loving equals. Each of us are balanced, powerful, and loving in this relationship. I am so committed to my love. They heard me, and they are still here. Now that's real love. That's why they have my loyalty for life. What's happening? Why is my past suddenly attacking me again? I thought I dealt with it. I thought I dealt with this already. Why is my new love treating me like this? They told me. I thought they knew. I thought they understood. I thought we had an understanding. I thought they knew that I told them this so they can understand me better and know how to love me better. But I feel unworthy. I feel like I'm responsible for my traumatic past. My love couldn't do this to me. Did I do something wrong? How do I fix it so I don't feel unworthy and unloved again? I recognize this feeling. It looks differently. Yes, it looks very, very differently. But it's my trauma reappearing and being thrust back upon me by my new beloved. So what is going on here? This narrative that I gave you all started off with someone who found a new love, and they were excited, very excited to be in this new relationship. And they felt so comfortable and safe that naturally they wanted to open up to show this person that they love who they are, who they fully and truly are. Because that is what love is about, right? It's about opening up yourself, showing your cards, being vulnerable, giving you an opportunity to heal, to grow, to understand each other better, to be there better, to have the deepest possible relationship and love that's possible. That's what this is about. But here's the funny thing, and it's not very funny because I'm being sarcastic, I'm being ironic. People who come from traumatic, abusive circumstances, situations, magically or tragically, you will find yourself in that situation all over again, especially if you went through great trauma at the earlier part of your life, early part of your years. And you're wondering, why is it that if I go through great trauma at the early part of my life, early part of my years, why am I bound to put myself in that situation again? How does that happen? And let me let you in on something. The reason why it happens is that when you're younger, that is actually the time when you are supposed to be protected and supported the most. That is your nurturing ground. That is your foundation. And if for some reason something happens to that foundation that is traumatic and scarring, you are going to work very, very hard to get yourself out of that situation. And sometimes people get themselves out of that situation through escape. Well, most people get themselves out of that situation through escape. The question is, what type of escapism is being used? Is it drugs, alcohol, sex, violence? Or do you use those feelings, those negativity, those dark feelings to propel yourself out of that situation into better circumstances? There's a whole variety and degrees of reasons and how people do what they do. I'm not really going into that today. I'm focusing on something else. But your goal is to escape, to get to a safe harbor. But when you've been traumatic and scarred at an early age, you do your best job to tuck those feelings away, hide those experiences in history, and work to get yourself, like I said, to a better environment. And when you get to a better environment, we all want love. So you ideally would like a relationship that does not look like anything that you have seen or experienced that was traumatic or scarring to you. Do you understand? So why does this trauma reappear in a different box and wrapping? Let me tell you why it reappears. Because when you escape the situation, escape has nothing to do with healing, learning, and growing. Listen to what I said. You think by removing yourself out of that situation by any means necessary that's available to you, you believe that means that you have healed, but you haven't. You have only escaped, and that is half of your battle. The other half of your work is actually reflecting and processing whatever has scarred you. But we don't do that. We take the first half of the journey, which is removing ourselves from the situation, however you choose. And then once you remove yourself from the situation, your decisions after that point will dictate what happens to you. So naturally, you want to move on, if you choose to take a route that doesn't have to do with substance abuse at all, and you actually take it and put it into something that's highly productive for you in your future, then eventually you want to end up in a relationship that is not anything like what you have experienced or seen. And you think that now that you found this love, your happiness, all is well because your environment, your circumstances have changed. But unfortunately for you, you're still carrying that baggage, those demons with you. And the person that you have fallen in love with, 9 times out of 10, can smell it, can sniff your insecurities, your fears, your hurt, your trauma. They know. How do they know? It's primal. They just know. You see something in them. They see something in you. And that shit just clicks. But naturally, with all relationships, you don't see what's behind the scenes. You don't see what's lurking. You don't see what's waiting for you. Because there is a mask, a mirage, an illusion that is used to entice and seduce you, to get you to fall in love. Because when you fall in love, you open up and you become vulnerable, right? And you want to share. And you want to expose and you want to connect on so many different levels. And that's when things start to happen. That is when the magic turns into tragic. When you are as hooked as you possibly can be, and you have opened and exposed yourself as much as possible, the really deep, dark stuff, as much as you're comfortable with. That's when the tides start to change and things start to shift. But not in a good manner. So when you find yourself in a situation, in a relationship that started off magic, beautiful, and then slowly but surely that magic dissipates, it disappears, and you realize the things that you escaped from, the things that you had no control over, the things that caused you great pain, suffering, and scarring, that is being used to control you. It's being used to shackle you. How is it being used? Well, seeds are being planted. What kinds of seeds? Your demons are being fed. Your insecurities are being fed. Your fears are being fed. Your feelings of unworthiness are being fed. Everything that you have run from trying to escape, you have basically run back into the jaws of your nightmare. All because it tricked you using quote unquote love, but that wasn't love. It was a ploy to get you into this dysfunctional type of relationship. Now, what are the signs that you're in this type of relationship? Well, let me tell you something about these types of relationships where they start off one way and then you realize you're being haunted again by your demons because that person is making you relive it over and over again. This is not something that happens overnight most times. It is something that is gradual. It shifts. It's like getting sick, how the sickness is in your body for a while before the symptoms actually appear. That's what it's like. So no, you're not crazy. And no, you're not confused. What you saw was what you saw. But unfortunately, this person has come into your life to stir up all the things that you wanted to escape from. And they're going to take that shit and they're going to serve it back to you in a very sadistic, manipulative, deceptive, dysfunctional, codependent, narcissistic, abusive way. And you won't even know it's being done to you because it will be so smooth. It will be so subtle that you will question yourself. You will doubt your sanity. Because all you will be able to remember and understand is that love that you saw, that love that you knew, that love that you felt. That is what you're going to be fixated on. Your instincts will be telling you red flag, red flag, red flag. But your ego will be telling you, not too much has changed. It's pretty similar to how it used to be. So you're okay. You're okay. It's your imagination. You're okay. But you're really not okay. Because this is a slow kill. This is a slow reappearance of your greatest nightmare. Because if it came out all of a sudden, all at once, you would run. You would bounce immediately. But the person you're with, no, they don't want you to run. So they're going to drip it on you. Drop by drop by drop. And if you know anything about drops, they may be very tiny, very small, very slow. But if you collect enough drops, then you got momentum. You got quantity. You got those things. You have weight. So do not underestimate the power of one drop. Do not estimate the power of one seed and what it can turn into and how it can impact your life. So why does your supposed loved one change? Why do they change? The simple answer is they've come into your life to help you deal with the shit that you haven't dealt with. Now, the manner in which it's done, it all depends on the connection, the dynamics, what you've tried to escape from, and the person that you're dealing with. But eventually what happens is both of you have opened up, one probably more so than the other, and you are both triggering each other's deepest, darkest insecurities and fears. Now, the person who's the most manipulative, sadistic, deceptive, they're going to be the ones that pull the reins, unbeknownst to you. And it can start as a simple disagreement, a simple argument. It could be they don't like the way you've dressed. They don't like who you were talking to. They don't like how your career is going. It could be any number of reasons that triggers this person and the shift within them. But let it be known that shift is going to occur. Because whether you know it or not, your past, your experiences actually dictate how you react, how you respond, your decisions, and where and what you do in your life. So then you will start showing them behaviors and things that remind them of the secrets that you shared with them. And those actions of yours may actually irritate the hell out of them. But instead of dealing with things in a very assertive adult manner, this person is going to start chipping away at you even more. They're going to find those scars that you told them about. They're going to find those scars And then they're going to take a metaphorical knife and they're going to start cutting at those same places that you originally have those scars. They don't need to create new scars. They can work on your existing scars and make those motherfuckers go deeper and bleed harder. Harder, harder, harder. But they're not going to cut you fast. They're going to cut you so slow that you don't even know that it's happening. Because they want to and they need to and they feel compelled to reopen your wounds, your scars. They want to see you bleed. They want to see you bleed. So how does this balance of power shift? Because when someone starts having you get greater insecurity, have you living in fear, worry, all that weakens you. It creates self-doubt. And when you're full of self-doubt, insecurity, and fear, you don't feel empowered. You don't feel like your best self. You feel like you're questionable. You feel like you're contaminated. You feel like you're tarnished. You feel like you are lucky to be in any type of relationship because of what has happened to you. And that person will help you remember that one way or the other. They will remind you that you are lucky that they stayed with you after that story that you told them. Yes. So that is how the power goes from balance to shifted in one person's direction. That is how. They slowly start saying and doing things that makes you question, am I worthy? Am I lovable? Will I be able to find another after this one? And by the time they're done with you, they will make you think that no, there will be no one else and you should be grateful that they are here with you. So you bear and grin whatever shit they throw your way. But like I said, this situation will play out. It can play out for years because it's so subtle, the shift. It's so subtle. And when you're encountering life, circumstances and stresses, changes, all that, when you're under a lot of pressure, it brings out our not so great side. And our not so great side causes a lot of people to attack others in an unfair and unloving manner. Because you want control. When you have no control over your life, you seek to get control where you can. And if you have to grab and take control by demeaning and marginalizing another, that is what these relationships do. Now, some of you may know what I'm talking about. Some of you may not. But you are reliving your nightmare on a different setting, in a different setting with different people. And the only thing that's constant is you. And this person they actually have you questioning yourself on so many different levels. And years go by because there's good and there's bad. They tell you that what you're doing is wrong, wrong, wrong. It's not good enough. It's not good enough. It's wrong. They ask for apples. You give them apples. They say wrong. I wanted bananas. You give them bananas. They say wrong. I wanted zucchini. And that cat and mouse game continues. That mental mind fucking and manipulation continues. So they keep you so twisted and spinning. Next thing you know, you have been reacclimated to having to prove yourself worthy of their love or love in general. So they come at you with so many different ways that you naturally are going to think that you have gone or you are crazy. So what do? What victims do, or people who are trying to survive? You hold on to something that gave you happiness, joy, and security. So you go back to those earlier days and you focus on that and you stay with that, and that becomes your reality, even though it's not your reality. That is the dream. That is the fantasy that you hold on to instead of focusing on what is going on in front of you. Because what is going on in front of you is true traumatic. You're in shock. You're in denial. And you want to find that safe place again. So that safe place is your mind, your fantasies, your dreams, things of what once was and no longer. And unbeknownst to you, years have gone by. Years have gone by. Now you're asking, why is this happening to me again? Now, for those of you that were paying attention, I told you already. why you are encountering a situation that is similar but not exactly to the same one that you experienced through your initial trauma and scarring, is that when you escaped, which was a good decision, that was what you were supposed to do, the next step, the other half of this, was the fact that you were supposed to process and heal what it was that you went through. And since we don't like to deal with anything that causes us great pain, suffering, sadness, disappointment, depression, you want to sweep that shit away, you want to lock it away, and you want to move the fuck on as far as possible and as quickly as possible. And that is where we make a mistake. Loving someone is not a problem. But if you're loving someone when you got your demons leading and controlling you and you don't have clarity, you're going to find a person who's going to pull all that shit out and use your demons to attack you with. Because then you have to get strong or you get weaker. It's trial by fire. But for some of us, it takes a long time for us to realize what's going on. And for some of us, so much damn time goes the fuck by, you start to question if there's actually a better alternative available to you. If it looks right on paper and it seems right in appearance and all the bullshit is happening behind closed doors, why change everything? Just grin and bear it. Grin and bear it. Grin and bear it. Everyone else thinks it's great. If everyone thinks it's great, then it must be great. You must be the one with the problem. Right? You're scarred. You have traumatic issues. You're the one with the problem. Everyone else seems to be happy. So you're getting screwed every which way that you can possibly think of. And that makes it hard for you to realize what the hell you should do and why. But why does this happen to you over and over again? Because you have not learned what you need to learn to heal, take care of yourself, grow, and let go of the bullshit. That's what it boils down to. So we let this trauma and abuse just continue in our life. And a lot of us never get a clue. We'll eventually break up in this relationship and we'll move on to the next relationship, which is the same damn thing over and over again. Yes, things happen to us that we don't have a choice on. Yes, things happen to us where we are left to pick up the pieces and we weren't responsible, but we are responsible for ourselves and we have to pick ourselves up and move on. But picking yourself up is not the only thing. You have to pick yourself up and you have to put yourself together back the right way. If you pick yourself up and put yourself back together the same way you were originally put together, can you see why you get the same stuff all over again? Listen very carefully to what I said. You are a scarred and traumatic person because of what you've gone through. What you've gone through, let's say it was caused by another. You were not protected. You were not looked after. It's what happened to you. You didn't choose it, but it's what happened to you. And now you are trying to escape. You escape. You pull yourself out of the situation, but you're still tattered and torn in pieces. So when you escape a situation, you think that your job is done. Now this is when your life actually begins. But the funny thing is, your life is not beginning. You just hit the repeat goddamn button. Did you hear what I said? You hit rewind, repeat, start over, call it what you want. That is what you have done. Because after picking yourself up, you got to put the pieces back in the right way. If you put the pieces back in the same way, you are going to encounter the same people and the same situations over and over and over again. You have to rearrange the pieces in a way that's going to take tragic and turn tragic into magic. Listen to what I'm saying. You have to take your tragedies, and you got to turn into magic. You cannot make magic until you think about what has happened to you, how it's impacted you. Process that and surrender that shit and let it go. Because once you have learned your lessons and what has happened, and when I say learn your lessons, I don't want you to think that you've done something wrong. No, I've already said things have been done to you. It could be rape, abuse, substance abuse, sex abuse. It could be any number of things. The list goes on and on. But while you're picking yourself up, you got to finish the damn journey, the process, which is to put yourself back together. But you got to put yourself back together in a way that will not create another tragic situation. You have to rearrange yourself through healing, learning, and growing and letting go so you can put yourself to get magic in your life. No one wants tragic. We only need and strive for magic. So now you ask, we were in love. Where did the love go? Here's the funny thing. You thought it was love, but it wasn't love. It wasn't love. You know why it wasn't love? Because you started this relationship in fear. With fear and fear. You were scared to tell and share your truth with this person because you were fearful that they would leave you. So you already started this quote unquote relationship in a state of lack, in a state of scarcity, in a state of inferiority, and a state of low self-esteem. You've already started there. So where else if you already start low, where else can you go? If you started with low self-esteem, where else is there but for you to go but lower? You start low, you go lower. You start high, you go higher. So you already put yourself in a situation where you are questioning, doubting yourself. You weren't standing in your truth. Now, your truth, unfortunately, has some scars, some tears, some pain, a lot of grief, trauma, scarring, stress. But you have nothing to be ashamed of. It happened. Yes, you got to pick up the pieces. You can't change that part. But you cannot be ashamed of some shit that's been done to you that you have no choice in the matter. And you should not be ashamed. You will meet a lot of people to make you think you should be ashamed. How can you let this happen to you? What kind of person would allow that to happen? You'll meet all kind of people to make you thinking all kind of crazy stuff. But you have to understand, you're not coming from a place of love. Because if you came from a place of love, you would have loved yourself unconditionally and not had a problem sharing your truth, no matter what anybody thought about you. And whether that person stayed or left, it wouldn't have impacted you at all. Because if they stayed, you know they were the real deal. If they left, you know they were fraud. But it's neither here nor there. Whether they're here or not, that should not impact you, because you should be able to stand lovingly, tall and proud, and who and what you are and what made you what you are today. So that wasn't love. It felt like love, but it was with deceptive love. It was a love to seduce you and trap you, to get you in a sick, twisted, demented situation, to get you to put your pieces back in the way that works for you. Because the way you put yourself back together, no, that was only an invitation to invite the same bullshit back into your life, which is more scars. So why do you feel like you're being pulled in so many different directions at one time in relationships like this? Because this type of relationship, it is meant to shock you. It is meant to jar you. It is meant to keep you from thinking with great clarity. It is meant to kick up all the dirt, the dust, the hurt, the scars, the pain, everything that you wanted to ignore and you put the lights on. By pulling you in so many different directions, conflicting directions, it's like turbulence. You can't think straight with turbulence. You can heal in turbulence. All you're trying to do is hold on for motherfucking dear life and pray that you don't crash. But let me tell you something. With relationships like these, you're bound to crash eventually. And because you're in turbulence, you don't even realize that the person you're in a relationship with is actually bringing your airplane into descent mode, landing mode, which means you're crashing. But you're so caught up in all this other peripheral stuff that you don't see you're losing yourself and you're in a losing battle. And the only way that you need to get out is you need to put on a bloody jacket that you can jump out of the plane and land someplace safely and start working on yourself, because it will never, ever end. You have to stop, take your power back, and stop allowing these people to pull you in different directions mentally, emotionally, or physically. Was this love? It was never love. It was never love. Love doesn't hurt. It doesn't marginalize. It doesn't denigrate. It doesn't possess. It doesn't judge. It doesn't hinder. It doesn't throttle. It does not hurt you. It does not leave you feeling inadequate, unworthy. It doesn't leave you wondering whether you deserve or you should ever have love again. Love upholds and uplifts you no matter what. Love is not perfection.
When someone has you jumping through hoops and tells you that what you're doing is still not good enough, that is not love. You're a fucking circus animal. That is what you are. You're a fucking circus animal. And you are the star in someone else's show, and the joke is on your ass. Love doesn't hurt. I'm not saying with love you don't have disagreements, but the disagreements are held in a respectful, loving, considerate manner. Love does highlight things that you need to work on and improve on, but it doesn't take away from you. It doesn't steal your shine. It doesn't dim your glow. It doesn't stop you. It doesn't do anything like that. It uplifts and upholds you, and it accepts you for who you are, and knowing that you're doing the best that you can, and you're trying to be the best that you can, and it's going to help you be the best that you can to blossom. Not what I think is best for you. I don't matter. Love, true love, will help you be the best that you can be. Simple as that. It's not about the other person. It's about, is this other person helping me be the best that I can be? And if they're not, and they're having you second guessing and in chaotic mode, you can't think straight, you're inadequate. Every time you have a disagreement, they say, you deserve what you got. And that's why you're this type of person. And, if you're a decent human being, you wouldn't have gone through that. And you're causing so much trauma and difficulty in my life because you are scarred and you're a horrible, contaminated. That's not what love is about. You need to drop that motherfucker and move on. Do you understand? Now, I also know that when you're in these situations for a long time, you wonder if there's something better, because they will have you so screwed up in the brain that you will think that there's nothing else. There's no alternatives. But that's where the imprisonment and the shackles are. They have been working you over for so long that you can't see the light, even if it was shining in your face, because you question everything. They will make you believe that there's no one better than who they are. You don't deserve anyone better. You couldn't get anyone better if you tried. And if they left you, your fucking life would be over. But it's all a mind game. It's a ploy, because it's not true. Because if you found them, you will find someone else. But they don't want you to go, because they want to keep sucking the life out of you. And you got to get strength within you to realize what is going on. So have you figured out why you feel weak and full of doubt? Because I told you, they're telling you shit that's already in you, and they are feeding those insecurities in you because they don't want you strong. They don't want you to leave. They want someone under their foot. But part of your growth is getting the strength to stand the hell up and walk the fuck away and put yourself together in a way that's going to work for you. So no, it's not you. It's the other person. You told them information because you love and trusted them. And that information you told them triggered something within them. And now they're hurting you. They're hurting you because they want to control you. And I told you, love is not control. And let me tell you something else. Your past and your present should not dictate your happiness. What you've done or experienced in the past does not define you as a person. What you choose to do in the present also doesn't define you as a person. So don't ever let anyone think that just because you are a survivor or you've gone through some circumstances or situations that you had no say or control over, that defines what the hell you're going to get in the future. Don't let someone have that much power over you. Don't let someone have you thinking that you can't get better than their motherfucking asses because of what you've endured, what you've gone through. No, if you got that son of a bitch, you will get another motherfucker. Do you understand? Don't believe the lies. It's a web of deception and manipulation just to hold you back and keep you from getting the blessings that you deserve. You deserve to have everything you want and desire, but their goal is to chip away at your visions, your dreams, your hopes, your wishes, so that you don't think anything else exists outside of you, outside of them. And that is what's called abuse. It's abuse. The overall reason why this is happening is I told you this already. When you escaped, you were supposed to take the time to heal, reflect, grow, and let it go, and put yourself back together in the most positive, loving manner. But most of us don't take the time to do that. We escape. We tuck away our fears and insecurities and hurt and scars, and we move on with our life thinking all is going to come together. No, the only thing that's going to come together is your worst goddamn nightmare. Do you understand? That is the only thing that's going to come together. So is this what happens when you are vulnerable? No, this is what happens when you are vulnerable with the wrong person. But by healing and processing things you've gone through, it will help you have a greater and better understanding of what you should look out for, what you should accept, and what you should not accept. Because once you have established that within yourself, you can recognize these subtle red flags and realize, I don't like the way this is going. This relationship's over. You got to go. You should never wait till you have fallen in love, which impacts your judgment, and then choose to be vulnerable with a person and tell your secrets. I want all of you to be bold and courageous and stand in your truth. Your truth is your past, your present, and your soon-to-be future. Stand in it. Stand in your dreams. Stand in your current situation and stand in your past. None of that dictates who you are and what you deserve. If you want to see what real love or possibility is about, you start telling people about some shit right up front in the beginning, before your feelings and your emotions muddy and cloud your judgment. No. You're saying, Tara, that's too much. It could be too much. But if it's too much, that means you're with the wrong motherfucking person to begin with. Because a real person who's there for you, most times it won't be too much for them. It will also show you their character. Now you have to also look for other clues to validate that. But stop waiting until your judgment is impaired because you have fallen head over heels and you're in love, and then you start sharing shit with people. No, you share that shit up front. Lay your cards on the table. And if they don't want to play your game, they can get the hell up and you can find someone else who wants to play with you. Do you understand? So when you're in this situation and you realize that, oh my gosh, I need to get out. How do I get out? How do you find out who are you? How do you find yourself and your voice? Well, the first thing you start to do is you start telling that son of a bitch no. You start letting that person know that I don't care what you think, what you say. You can share my secrets with other people. You can tell me I'm worthy. I don't give a damn what you think. I don't give a fuck. Did I mention I don't give a fuck? Did I mention I don't give a fuck? Do you understand? Because when you start telling them that you don't care what they think, what they say, who they tell it to, then you have grown a pair of balls. Then your backbone has become strong and erect. And then you are powerful. And then when you take your power back, then you start to see that person very clearly. You get to see them as insignificant and small as they are. But you have to start thinking about you. Do I like the way this feels? No. Okay. Set that to the side. I'm going to fix that shit. Do I like the way this feels? Yes. I'm going to keep this. Do I like the way this feels? No, I'm not going to keep that. Do I like the way this looks? Yes, I'm going to keep that. You have to start sorting through your life so you can find yourself and your voice and you can stand up for who you are. And that is how you start getting your way out of these toxic situations. What happens when you begin your process of self-discovery? That person's going to fight you every step of the way. And if you thought they were crazy and demented then, they're going to go from 1 to 100 on your ass just to keep you in check because they don't want you to be free. They don't want you to escape. They don't want you to be happy. So they're going to turn the fire up on your ass and they're going to try to burn, baby, burn. But what comes out of ashes? That's where the phoenix rises. So you're battling. You're battling for you. And you are worth it. No one makes you feel that you're unworthy or unloved. No one does that. Unless they don't really love you. Saying you love someone and really being able to show you love someone are two different things. And y'all need to get that shit. Do you understand? So what would a person that loves you actually do or not do? Well, a person who's genuine, they would listen to you. They will understand the pain that you've gone through. They will respect your journey. They will respect your process. They will help you where they can, but they also understand that this is your job and your journey and you need to go down that path on your own, but they're with you in spirit for moral support and they will encourage you and they will not hinder you, throttle you, make you feel less than. They will uphold you. They will uplift you. Even at your darkest moments and your darkest days, they will see the light that shines within you no matter how much darkness you're feeling. And they will not let your darkness take them down. That's another part of love. See, what you people don't understand is you think that when you love, you're just giving it to the other person. No, to really love someone, you have to be able to love yourself. And we forget that. And part of loving myself is being there for someone without causing harm to myself. Because when I put myself at risk, that means I don't know how to love you. Because if I loved you, I wouldn't put you at risk. So if I love you and I wouldn't put you at risk, then why in the hell would I put myself at risk? Now that's some shit that you probably went through, confused y'all, but I'm saying one more last time. A person who loves you will love themselves in the right way. If I love myself, will never cause harm or jeopardize myself. I don't care who I love. So if I'm there for you, I will be there for you as long as it doesn't hinder or impact me. You say that sounds selfish. No, that's not selfish. That's what love is. Love uplifts and upholds everyone involved. It's not at the risk or jeopardy of someone else. It's a win-win. It's not a win-lose. And you need to understand that. Be careful on the relationships you get in. Be careful on starting your relationship with fear and insecurities, because how you started is going to get worse. It's going to grow into an adult. It starts off as a baby and it goes into an adult, and then you won't be able to do anything about it. And it's going to be very, very difficult for you to get out of this dysfunctional, unloving, sadistic, manipulative, deceptive type of relationships. Think about that. Think very long and hard about what you're sharing, why you're sharing it, how you're sharing it, when you're sharing it, who you're sharing it with. Think very long and hard. For those of you who have been scarred, it's okay. We've been there. We've done that. But I've told you the secret to your success. You get out of that situation. You process your feelings. You pick up those pieces and you start creating a beautiful mosaic. Mosaic is something that's made with small, cut up, broken pieces, but you can create a work of art with that. And that is what all of us are. We are supposed to be beautiful mosaics. If you keep putting together the same fucking picture, you're going to get the same fucking situation. So what I'm telling you is escape, think, process, decide what you want your personal mosaic to look like, and then you start putting the pieces together like that. No, you don't get new pieces. You get the same pieces, but you have a choice on how you put those pieces together. And I'm asking you, I'm telling you, don't put the same picture together. Do something different so you can have better circumstances in your life. So stay tuned. I'm going to be talking about something in the news. So I read an article about how heroin came for middle-class moms. They said women have moved from popping prescription painkillers to shooting up street drugs. There's a woman, her name is quote unquote Donna, and Donna is from the suburbs. She grew up in a nice middle-class family, and she has her own middle-class home and family. But today she's in a group therapy for outpatient substance abuse program for women. In 2011, Donna, after giving birth to her son, a doctor prescribed to her, and she was 25 years of age at that time, a doctor prescribed to Donna oxycodone and Xanax for chronic back pain. I believe she was in some type of accident. So the doctor prescribed to her oxycodone and Xanax at the age of 25 for chronic back pain. She then began paying the doctor in cash for these pills when she wasn't able to get a prescription and get it filled through her medical plan. So the prescriptions or the pills were basically being doled out like candy, like Skittles. Her family knew that she was taking a lot of pills, but they felt since it wasn't from some quote unquote drug dealer off the street that she was seeing, that it's okay. That made it better. I'm trying to understand this line of thinking here. Why do we have this limited capacity to think about a situation from many different angles? You think where you get the drugs, makes overtaking drugs better? What kind of twisted, demented motherfucking shit is that? You're saying if she was buying the pills from a motherfucker off the street, that is wrong. But since she's getting it from somebody in a white jacket in an office with a PhD, a high-level medical degree, that was more conducive to your liking, you sat back and watched your daughter pop pills like Skittles, and what you told yourself was, well, she's not buying it off the street, and she's getting it from a medical professional. And in your head, a medical professional would never prescribe my daughter something that was not in her best interest. So if a doctor's prescribing it to her, then it must be okay. We come up with some bullshit. We can justify, we justify some bullshit. We do it. Because we can't face the fact that, yes, your daughter is a drug addict. I don't give a damn where she's getting the shit from. She can be buying the shit from Ronald McDonald off the goddamn street, or motherfucking Elmo or Big Bert and Ernie. That doesn't change a motherfucking thing. Just because someone's wearing a white medical coat, you think that this person is what? Better? He's helping your daughter? He's offering her relief, and it makes it better? Guys, stuff like that, it just drives me insane because it makes no sense at all. So you watch your daughter go on taking these pills for a while, and she has no real issues. Because she's getting for a doctor, it must be okay. So that was in 2011, she was 25. In 2013, Donna, quote unquote Donna, she gets into a very, very bad car accident. So she's already been popping pills for a few years, oxycodone and Xanax. Now she's in a severe car accident. Now, if you were to ask me, I think her ass got into a motherfucking car accident because she was already high as hell. But they're not going to disclose that already, are they? No, they're not, because they're in goddamn denial. So what does Donna do? Donna gets more prescriptions. So if Donna already had a bad back and was addicted to oxycodone and Xanax, and now she gets in a car accident because her ass was fucking high as hell, now she gets more medication. Then she goes into a severe depression. Then she attempts suicide. Then she goes into rehab. And then someone reports this pill mill to the DEA, and the place was shut down. So now her parents, they have a sigh of relief because this pill mill was shut down. So you know what that means, guys? The parents lack the motherfucking backbone and strength to take the bull by the motherfucking horns and address the issue. They were looking for everyone else to do what the fuck they were supposed to do. Meaning her mom should have had a conversation with her daughter before it went on for years. Her mom should have showed the fuck up at the pill mill and said, look, this is what the fuck you're doing. You need to stop giving it to my daughter. The parents did nothing. They sat back on their hands in denial. Now the DEA has come in and things have shut down, and they were happy. They were happy, right? The universe has worked in her favor and everything's going to be better. But here's the funny thing. Her husband ended up taking Percocet because he dislocated his collarbone. So the pill mill was shut down by the DEA, and her daughter couldn't get access to it. So the daughter actually eventually got clean. Then her husband got injured, and he started taking Percocet for a dislocated collarbone. Now oxycodone was in her house again. Now here's the sad part. Her husband became addicted. So the husband already knew and saw what happened to his wife, middle-aged, middle-class wife. And he goes along and becomes addicted to the same shit. Now, his wife, her daughter, she didn't become addicted at first. She did not. But eventually, she got back on it. Now, Percocet isn't cheap. It's $25 per pill. And heroin is $10 per bag. She didn't want to do heroin. because she found out that she was pregnant with her second child. Yes, Donna was pregnant with her second child. And she was already back on taking Percocet or oxycodone in whatever form that she had at that time. And she thought heroin was just too much for her while she was pregnant. Right? It was too much for her while she was pregnant. So they are figuring out how to pay $20, $25 per pill. So then they started thinking, you know what, $25 per pill, that's $50 for her and her husband, because now they're both addicted in their middle class homes and their suburbs. But they could buy a $10 bag of heroin and split that and have the same feeling for less money, for 80% cheaper. So what do you think they would spend their money on? They started taking heroin. Now, I'm thinking back pain, collarbone pain, yes. A lot of us go through painful situations. It's part of the human body. It's part of the healing. Some have a higher pain tolerance than others. But I'm really thinking that it wasn't about the back pain. There were some other things going on in their life that they were trying to escape from and feel good about. And that second accident she got in, that was caused because she was high. But they don't want to put that because she will probably get some type of criminal charges put on her ass for doing that. So they were probably able to chalk it up to some other reason. But the fact is the woman is high. She had a kid and she's high. And her husband turned around and got addicted to the same shit when he saw the turmoil that his wife's addiction. So I don't understand. Why would they do that to one another? And, I know that addiction is a disease. It is difficult and hard. But what I do know about addiction is that it's about escape. It's about escapism. I don't know how many ways, over how many days I need to tell people, you cannot escape your demons. And you're saying, you know what? I can't escape them, but I can shut them the fuck up. You don't shut them up either. All you're doing is creating more demons for yourself. I don't know any other simpler way to put it. We look at our demons as something that is horrific, that is something that's overpowering, that's something that's trying to destroy us. That's not why our demons exist. They exist to get your attention because you have not been paying attention at all to the clues, the cues that you've been given. Anything that causes you pain and discomfort, all that means is that there's a part of you that needs some attention, that wants you to listen, wants you to learn, heal, grow, and then let it go. Why do we run from ourselves? Why do we run into another pile of demons that we add on to the original ones we haven't dealt with? We all know that the high that you feel with whatever your addiction is, we know it's not going to last. So why do we keep coming up with these temporary solutions instead of finding a permanent solution? Why? Why are we adding more kerosene to the fire? You cannot run. You cannot hide from yourself. So now she became a heroin addict while she was pregnant with her second child. She asked for help. She got help. And now, as a middle-class, middle-aged mom, she has to drive 20 miles every day to sit at a methadone clinic from 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. But here's the funny thing. She hates going to the methadone clinic. She hates the location because the location is not in the suburbs. The location is not clean and pretty and perfect. No, she doesn't like that. She said it scares her because it's filled with people that have addictions. Did you hear what I said? A heroin addict that lives in the suburbs is complaining about having to go to a methadone clinic with other addicts. And it scares her to be around those other addicts because they don't have her zip code or the zeros in her bank account. That tells me that she hasn't learned anything at all. How are you going to cast judgment on someone who's using the same drugs as you? How are you going to be so callous, so cold, so self-centered and unaware that you have the nerve to be self-righteous about who you're sitting around? You see, what that leads me to believe is that she doesn't have a problem with those people. What she has a problem with is those people are showing her her future. Yes, they are showing her her future. And she doesn't like what she sees. It's not about the other people. It's the fact that if she doesn't get her shit straight, she will be strung out on the streets. And that is what she doesn't like. She doesn't give a damn about those other addicts at the methadone clinic. No, what she cares about is the fact that she sees her truth in them and she wants to run from it. She thought as long as she's sitting in her fucking perfect ass zip code in her middle class suburban home, that she's immune, that she's different, that she's better. How are you immune when you're doing drugs while you're pregnant like everybody else? Okay, you got a home and someone else on the street. How does that make you better? Huh? Because you're more fortunate, you have better blessings? That makes you different? No, if you were different, you wouldn't be sitting in a methadone clinic. If you were different, you would have looked at your demons and came up with some whole, balanced, self-preserving ways to deal with your back pain and your fucking bored ass middle class life. So now you're sitting amongst your peers, and again, you still think you're too motherfucking good. You think you don't deserve to be there because you are a slave to the methadone regimen and you find it too restrictive. So you got a complaint with the restrictions on your methadone treatments. You got a complaint about the other people who are there getting methadone just like you. And you got a complaint because it's not in your pretty picturesque suburban background. You see, that's how you end up back abusing substances again, because you lack the self-awareness, you lack the inner attunement to, instead of begrudge, resent, and judge these people, you should look at them, watch them, learn from them, and use that as momentum to get your motherfucking shit straight. Use it as a way to get off the methadone and get all that shit out of your system. You see, but you're focused on the wrong shit. Instead of focusing on you, you're focusing on others. Because you know and I know that what they are, you will be motherfucking tomorrow. That's what it's about. You're focusing on the wrong people. And anytime that you focus outward of yourself instead of inwards, you're bound to repeat your same nightmare. Because their addiction has nothing to do with you. And your addiction has nothing to do with them. You all just happen to be congregating in the same damn place to replace one addiction with another one, which is called methadone. And instead of focusing on that shit and learning these people's stories so you can get your shit straight, you're whining and bitching like an entitled motherfucker who basically pissed on all of your blessings. Where's humble? Where's your humility? Where is it? Huh? Where is it? You will still want to feel better than somebody else just because you got a few extra zeros in your bank account. It's wrong. We have to do better and be better people. We can't be like that. Now, if she misses a dose, she gets reprimanded. And if she misses a dose, she gets sick. And she calls it a methadone prison. Maybe it is a methadone prison, but you don't realize that is what you chose as your fucking future. You knew how you felt when you kept taking those pills. You knew that medicine that you were taking was taking over your life. You knew when you kept doing it, the risk of where you could possibly end up. And you still chose to indulge in that path because I don't know if you thought it was your motherfucking minivan, your white picket fence, the zeros in your fucking bank account, or your goddamn zip code that made you immune. But you jeopardized all the blessings you had for a temporary fix to run from some demons within you because you can't face you. You're the one that led yourself down that path every step of the way. No one else was making no decisions. Now, I know that some people have addictive personalities. Yes. And if you indulge, you may not be able to stop. But that's what self-awareness gets you. Why dance with the devil? Why play with fire? Why do shit that you know you're not going to win? You're complaining that you're in a methadone clinic prison? You are a prisoner of your fucking self. Listen, let me call a motherfucking spade a spade. And I apologize for those who don't like my directness, but this is what it is. When you put yourself in harm's way and you jeopardize yourself because you're having struggles dealing with your reality, your past, whatever it is that's haunting you, you're already a prisoner. You just chose to change your point of view as far as what is shackling you. But you are fundamentally your problem. Because if you turned around and look at what the fuck was bothering you and realized this is not that big of a deal, let me learn what I need to learn, you would need to go down this fucking heroin or this Percocet or oxycodone path. You wouldn't. Why would you jeopardize you if you loved you? Why would you put yourself in a situation that you could lose all the fucking blessings you have and end up sitting in a methadone clinic for about, 5-7 hours a day? Why would you do that to yourself? You had every step of the way to pivot and change your motherfucking decision to get the help that you needed. I can't help your parents and have the strength to help you, but you have the strength. So why didn't you pull yourself up and say, okay, what is it that I'm trying to escape from? Because I don't like where I'm headed and I see where I'm going. I'm either going to end up dead, killing somebody else, losing all my blessings, and be on the street. How difficult is it to analyze the situation and figure out what your options are? We like to go through life like life is happening to us. No, life is not happening to you. You are happening to you. You are the one that's fucking up in your decisions. You are the one that's shackling yourself and keeping yourself in prison because you're too fucking scared to figure out what it is that's boring you in your fucking middle class life. Go give back. Before you kept popping those pills, I would have drove 20 motherfucking miles. I would have gone through the ghetto and inner city and see, okay, if I don't get my shit straight, I may end up here. That's what I would do because I'm fucking real as fucking hell and I believe in a stark motherfucking reality check. If you want to play with the devil, that is your choice. But at least if you're going to dance with the son of a bitch, you need to know who the fuck you're dancing with. And if you want to take drugs because it helps you feel good and escape from your life, that's cool. But you need to know that the risk you're taking and where you could possibly motherfucking end up. Being middle class doesn't mean you stay fucking middle class. What you have today can be gone tomorrow. We're not guaranteed anything but life, death, and motherfucking taxes. So why would you piss on what you have? Because you're fucking bored. Huh? You couldn't find a hobby or something like that? You said, Tara, pain is hard. I know pain. Believe you me, I know pain. I've been in pain 24/7. I was in so much pain that I slept 18 hours a day. I was on muscle relaxants, painkillers, anti-inflammatories, sleep pills, all that shit. And eventually, you know what happened? I was taking it. It helped a little bit, but then it stopped working. You know why it stopped working? Because I built resistance to it. My tolerance went up. And I'm like, okay, where is this going? The doctor gave me a prescription. It didn't work, so he upped the prescription. That worked for a little bit, and then I realized, okay, this shit stopped working. So then I sat back and say, if I keep going down this path, where the fuck am I going to end up? So I had to make a fucking hard decision to cut this shit off before it was a path of no return. So no one can't tell me I don't understand what it's like to be in pain. I do know. How did I deal with it? I got in the gym and I worked through that pain. It was a long, grueling process. And the pain is still not gone. But I got off that medicine because it's a slippery slope you can't get off. And if you keep telling the doctors you're in pain, their job is to accommodate you and help you, right? Yes. But you have to take personal responsibility for yourself. You can't say, well, I'm going to keep asking, and as long as the doctor gives it to me, it's okay. You can't put your personal responsibility on a doctor. It's your job. They're doing their job to help you. You have to have better judgment to realize, is this in my best interest or not? Am I willing to risk everything I have for this pill? Do I have better alternatives? You can't rely on other people to solve your issues. It's nice to have a doctor available, but you have to look, is there a better way? Is there a better way? So she's in methadone prison. But she's been clean. She's been clean for 126 days, but she says she doesn't feel free. You were never free, my love. When you started taking medication instead of dealing with the problem, you have never been free. Your freedom was an illusion. And she also has a problem that now her husband is in rehab and she can't visit him. She wants to move on with her life, and she doesn't know when she'll be able to move on with her life or how. You should have thought about that shit long before you went on oxycodone, your journey of oxycodone and heroin. Now, to get back from this path, it's going to take a lot of work. You would have had less work to do if you fixed the shit before it got this far down the path. But you thought you were invincible. You thought you had it under control. You thought this gravy train was going to keep happening. We have to learn how to critically think. We have to learn how to make better decisions. And we have to learn how to take responsibility for ourselves. We have this tendency to place our ownness of who we are, what we need to be on other people. And then when those other people don't do what you think they should do, then you get to blame them, saying, I'm this way because the doctor kept giving me pills. I'm this way because I am surrounded by a bunch of street addicts off the street and I'm not happy. Where are you? Where are you? You chose to give yourself an 80% discount from going from Percocet, $25 a pill, to taking heroin. But no point in there am I hearing her say, I'm responsible. Because that's what they're talking about in these group therapy sessions, how to take responsibility. But if you look at her words, you can see whatever she's fucking learning it's a fraud because it's not true. It's a fraud. Typically at treatment centers, they said they encounter women who fall in two groups. One group, they're addicted to pain medication, and the other group, they're addicted to street heroin. But what's happening is that the pill clients are moving over to the heroin. Most of them are moving over to the heroin. They start off with the pills and they shift over to heroin. They said by 2013, a new sort of woman was using heroin. She was an affluent woman, a middle-aged, middle-class woman with carpools. Did you hear what I said? Carpools. So people who are letting other people drive your kids around, you don't know who's driving your kids around now, do you? Do you? I'm telling you, you got middle-class, middle-aged people in suburban homes carpooling, and these people can be high as motherfucking hell with your kids in the car. What do you think about that? Huh? What do you think about that? You should think very long and very hard and very carefully. People think a drug addict comes in one way. They think a sex addict comes in one way. They think an alcoholic only comes in one way. Ignorance just knows no bounds and knows no bounds, knows no bounds. Stupid ass excuses and justifications, it knows no bounds and knows no bounds and knows no fucking bounds. We got to do better and be better people. This is some straight up bullshit. It's bullshit all around. You cannot use stereotypes to help you live a fucking sordid life, to help you turn a blind eye to your bad choices. We got to do better. We can do better. We need to do better. Now, there's another woman. Her name is quote unquote Catherine. Catherine had a teenage daughter that was in an accident and she suffered a skull fracture from the car accident. And the mother was so worried and so upset. She was having difficulty sleeping because she didn't know how her daughter is going to recover, if she can add 2 + 2. And again, her daughter is a teenager. So since she couldn't sleep, she decided to take one of her daughter's Percocet pills to take the edge off and give her some sleep. Brilliant, brilliant choices. Take the edge off. You know what takes the edge off? Some breathing, some yoga, some stretching, a jog, dog walking, volunteering, cycling, baking, cooking, massage, all of those things. There's no easy way in life. You got to put in the goddamn work. You got to put in the work. When you take shortcuts, your ass gets cut. That is a metaphor. You can't cheat yourself out of what the fuck you need to do. There's no escape. There's no escaping. You're just feeding a beast. You're feeding a beast. She said she told herself that she would only use it occasionally. That was her first goddamn lie. The second lie she told is that she knew of a husband and wife, and she knew that the husband owned his own construction site. So she called the wife and told the wife that she had a friend who needed some heroin. So this mother very quickly went from popping a few Percocets and went straight to heroin because her daughter's prescription ran out. She said the first time that she did heroin, it was like, OMG, oh my God. She said it was heaven on earth. It was stronger than a pill, and she loved it. She said it took everything away from her. Her worries about her daughter's recovery, her work stress, her marriage, and her mortgage. It took it all away. Poof, it was gone. Guys, we all have challenges and suffering in our life. All of us. It's not going to change. We have pain and suffering because we are meant to grow. We are meant to learn. And when you don't learn what you're supposed to learn, you go through pain. When you don't read the signs and do what you need to do, then the next sign is going to be great pain and suffering. But you cannot run from the pain. And yes, sometimes it's unbearable, but you have to breathe and push through it. If you try to escape from your lessons in life and try to use drugs, alcohol, sex, abuse, all these different things to hide from what you need to deal with, your disappointments, your boredom, your fear, your insecurities. If you try to use all these band-aids, you're going to suffer because you cannot run, you cannot hide. If you looked at the problem, analyzed it, process it, and grow and let go, you move on much faster. You're not here to suffer. You're here to live and be happy. What is our problem with addressing our problems? Oh, you don't know how to address it. You don't know how to deal with it. That's fine too. If the only thing you know how to do is to stand in that pain, feel that pain, and just let it sit in it, and you do nothing else, that is much better than anything else. That's much better than any drug you can take. But the easiest decisions are usually the bad decisions. And the hard decisions are usually the better decisions. It's hard to make the right choice. It's hard to stand up when you're scared and you're tired. It's hard to push through when you are basically insecure and doubting yourself. It is hard. But that is what we have to do. We don't have to escape. We don't have to go to drugs, alcohol, and sex and all these other vices. We don't have to do that. If it doesn't help you grow, if it doesn't help you glow as a person, you're causing more harm than you need to. You're making your problems worse. And then you're going to have to fix that problem, and then you're going to have to dig deep and fix the other problems. Why are you going to stack more shit up against you? Why do we stack ourselves up for failure? We got to chip that shit away to win. Clean it up, clear it out. Don't run. Face it, fight it, overcome it, and move on. Because when you run, you hide, you try to escape, you try to get something to numb you, you're going to fuck your shit up. And I swear to you, it's going to be a lifelong battle because I don't care what you take. There's nothing that you can take that's going to take away your fucking problems. There's nothing you can drink that's going to hide your demons. If it's bothering you that bad, face the motherfucker and say, hello, how are you? What do we need to do to get you to go the fuck away? That's how you deal with the problem. You don't hide under substance abuse because that shit is temporary. And last I heard, problems deserve permanent solutions. Please stop judging people based upon their zip code, their skin color. Stop judging them. It doesn't matter where you live. If you're addicted, you're addicted. The outcome is the same. And just because you have more money and more to blow through, if you blow through all that shit, you're going to be on the streets like them. You're not better. You're human like the rest of us. The only difference is you're trying to run from some shit and basically look down on other people, but you're not better. And you're not better if you're looking down on someone else saying, I don't like this, a bunch of addicts. You're an addict. Otherwise, you wouldn't be on methadone. You're escaping your problems too. Otherwise, you wouldn't be there. Stop running and turn around and introduce yourself to your demons. Because once you do that, they go smaller, they go quiet, and they will tell you what the issue is, and then you can deal with it. There are better ways, there are better alternatives, but you have to take the time to do it, and you have to stop relying on other people to take care of you. The only person that's equipped to take the best care of you is you. And if you have no interest, it's a shame because you're worth it. Your children's worth it. Your families are worth it. Don't piss away your blessings over some stupid shit like you want a temporary escape. You want to feel good. Find the opposite alternative to feel good, where you're not addicted, where you have options. Otherwise, you will continue to be a prisoner of your life, a prisoner of your circumstances, a prisoner of your demons, and you will die in imprisonment. You will die within those shackles, and you will live an unfulfilled life, and you will be more inclined to add some more drama and trauma to your life. Do better, be better, so you can have better. If you want better, you got to reach for the shit. Don't make excuses. Have hope. Your daughter's suffering? Do yoga, chant, find ways that will help you. Because if your daughter woke up and realized that you were addicted because of what she went through, how do you think that's going to help your daughter? Think it through, guys. We got to learn how to make better self-honoring decisions. I'll speak to you all next week. Are you disappointed this has come to an end? Well, it doesn't have to. Reach out and let me know what you think about this episode and my podcast. You can try and slide into my DM, but I will kick your ass out. So I suggest you hop into my DM on Instagram at Difficult and Demanding or Twitter at Mrs. D&D, or leave a comment on one of my posts. Now give. My episode links to friends, family, associates, frenemies. Hell, give it to your enemies. Actually, I don't give a damn who you give it to. Just give the shit to people and bring laughter to others and show your love for this podcast. Have you escaped one nightmare situation, arrived at safe harbor, and walked right into another traumatic situation? Watch my new sideshow episode. It is called Why Are You Afraid? You can get it by searching for Difficult and Demanding on YouTube or watch on IGTV. Episode 43 is here on September 14th, 2018 from the I'm Difficult and Demanding podcast.